I need a shot of love. I need a shot of love. Okay, everybody. This is Bob Dylan's last Christian album of the trilogy, of those even evangelical period of his. Whoops, wrong one. Shot of Love from August 12th of 1981. This was Dylan's 21st album in the United States. Some could say this was kind of a sign of Dylan's decline a little bit, you know, since this album didn't chart very well. I think it only charted at number 33, and it charted at number 6 in the UK. So we don't get, well, here on the album, the producers, we're not getting the guys from Muscle Shoals that produced, you know, the last two albums. That was, you know, Saved and what's the other one? Slow Train Coming. Yeah, 79 in 1981 or 1980. So it was less than a year when Saved came out or was out. The album was recorded between March and May of '81. And this time we got Chuck Pluckton. Plotkin? He produced for Bruce Springsteen. So it has a little bit of that Springsteen-y kind of, not, I mean, this doesn't have any saxophone in it, thank God, right? You know, sometimes saxophone can be so very, very distracting sometimes. But yeah, he's producing, and plus also Bumps Blackwell, who was also a huge producer for everybody. I think he produced a lot of the early hits for Little Richard, and produced for Ray Charles, and pretty much everybody. And Sly and the Family Stone, just to name a few. Also Quincy Jones. So the album is about 44 minutes, 27 seconds. It seemed like back then a lot of the, for looking up the, you know, for what the critics think of the album, you know, they kind of thought of it as just, you know, it's a little bit blandish, you know, a little bit not in your face. You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like there were some people that were seeking for that, you know, that spiritual, a big, huge, you know, more of gospel, or more of a gospel presentation than you know, where you got on Saved and Slow Train Coming. And sure, you know, that's true. You know, it's definitely a little less of that kind of preachiness, a little bit more rock, a little bit more blues, I guess, a little bit on the album than what you had expected from the previous album and Slow Train Coming. But I do gotta say, this isn't one of my favorite albums by Dylan. I feel like this album is a little bit kind of mid, you know, it's a little bit kind of, you know, it's not so preachy than Saved, but, you know, once again, I love Saved. But that album was a little bit preachy, and then, of course, Slow Train Coming. Yeah, a little bit on the same thing, whatever, but a little bit on the smooth side. But here, we get a little bit more of a rawness, a little more raw presentation here. So here on the album, we got pretty much everyone from the, you know, the Saved and the, you know, the Saved and the Slow Train Coming recording era. You know, Carolyn Dennis and Tim Drummond on bass, and Jim Keltner, of course, amazing session players. Fred Tackett, except for Heart of Mine. So let's go ahead and talk about the album. You know, yeah, that album cover is a bit cheesy. You know, I'm pretty sure most people were turned off by that. Yeah, a lot of people back then in '81 didn't seem like most people cared for the album. But well, anyways, I kind of appreciate the album. It's not one of my favorite Dylan albums, I think, in my opinion. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the album. So the first track is Shot of Love. And I really love the opening track where you got Carolyn Dennis and Bob. I need a shot of love. You know, when they both kind of interplay with one another. This is actually a pretty good song. It's a little bit of a, and even the album too, because I know he was employing a lot of the reggae. Definitely a lot of reggae on the previous album, and maybe even Slow Train a little bit, you know. And maybe even you go a little bit further back, Street Legal a little bit too, you know. But yeah, this opening is actually kind of, I really do kind of enjoy Shot of Love a bit. I believe Dylan had said in 1983 that this was his perfect song. He was where he was mentally and where spiritually, that he very much loved writing the song "Shot of Love." I mean, the lyrics are kind of just like, you know, not the best Dylan lyrics, I think, in my opinion. I don't need no alibi when I'm spending time with you. I've heard all of them rumors and you have heard them too. Don't show me no picture, show or give me no book to read. It don't satisfy the hurt inside nor the habit that it feeds. I need a shot of love. I think it's a little bit like a, you know, you feel down, you need a little shot of love. You need some happiness in your life, you know, not so much all this crap that's going on, you know. Okay, then after that is Heart of Mine. Now, Heart of Mine features a couple people on here that you may know, including Ringo Starr. I think Ringo Starr is definitely maybe one of the best drummers of all time. I mean, you may think, well, he's overrated, he's not the best drummer. But no, you're wrong. I think Ringo is absolutely an incredible, very, very precise drummer. And he does pretty well on this song, even though it's a little bit cheesy. And Ron Wood, we all know Ron Wood from the Rolling Stones, of course, you know. And Donald Duck Dunn and Clyde King on backing vocals. It is actually not bad of a song. This was actually a single over in Norway, where it reached number 6. And it's kind of a, you know, it has a little bit of, you know, once again, a little bit of a reggae, a little bit of a soul feel a little bit. Some of these lyrics, I do actually kind of like these lyrics in this song. Like, heart of mine, go back home. You got no reason to wander. You got no reason to roam. Heart of mine, you know that she'll never be true. She'll only give to others the love that she's gotten from you. Don't let her know, heart of mine. Yep. Give you an inch and you'll take a mile. Heart of mine, so malicious and so full of guile. Give you an inch and you'll take a mile. Don't let yourself fall, don't let yourself stumble. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime, heart of mine. Yeah, so pretty good song, you know. Like, kind of like the guitars in there too, you know. Pretty good song. Okay, and after that is Property of Jesus. This is quite a, you know, a little bit of a, you know, kind of a poppy, a little bit of a poppy song, a little bit, you know. I think all three of these songs almost have the same key. They're all played in the same key signature. I don't know if it's like an 8-time or whatever it is. Yeah, I think this song's probably about someone that's a little bit negative, you know, a little bit of someone that's that's a non-believer, I guess. You know, I guess you would how you would simplify it. He's the property of Jesus. He resent him to the bone. You got something better. You've got a heart of stone. I like that. That's actually a pretty good stanza. He's the property of Jesus. Resent him to the bone. You got something better. You got a heart of stone. I love the way he kind of vocalizes heart of stone. Yeah, it's a little bit upbeat in nature. You know, really like the I love Fred Tackett playing on here as well. Yep, say that he's a loser because he's got no common sense, because he don't increase his worth at someone else's expense, because he's not afraid of trying, because he don't look at you and smile, because he doesn't tell you jokes or fairy tales. Say he's got no style. Pretty good song. I do actually kind of like that song. And then after that we get Lenny Bruce. It's okay. You know, it's a bit of a slow piano song, you know. I'm pretty. I mean, I know a lot of people probably think that this is probably the sore thumb of the album. You know, kind of the black sheep. You know, kind of a bit of a, a little bit of a disappointing, a little bit, a little bit of an unnecessary type song. I mean, it kind of fits in with, I guess, of the actual theme of what Dylan's been saying back, a few years back, to this point here of his Christian trilogy. I don't think, I mean, some of the, I don't know, I read these lyrics and I'm like, I mean, this lyric here, I mean, some of it's a little bit, some of it just sounds flat out just nonsensical, like this verse or stanza. Maybe he had some problems, maybe some things that he couldn't work out, but he sure was funny, and he sure told the truth that he knew what he was talking about. Never robbed any churches nor cut off any baby's head. Babies' heads, like who would to think that put that in a song like this slow, piano. It's like, most people can take it or leave with this song, but it's not, I don't know. Okay, then, after Lenny Bruce, which, it's okay, but, I just wish the song wouldn't be on there. So, if you have the LP, this would be the last song on side one, and it's Watered Down Love. Really slinky guitars on here, a little bit of the reverberation on the recording here. Watered Down Love. It's a little bit, it has the reggae sound, of course, This is kind of one that's a little bit on the okay side, I do like the repeated phrases of you don't want a love that's pure, you don't want to drown love, you want to water down love. I'm assuming the song's I guess once again you don't need what's the purpose of negativity, I guess, nothing to really sneer on some of these, lyrics or whatever. That's okay. Okay, then if you have the LP, you flip that album over and you get The Groom Still Waiting at the Altar. What an incredible song. I do gotta say, this is probably my favorite song on the album, for sure. And of course, what comes at the end of the album. It's definitely a really excellent song. This was the B-side to Heart of Mine over in Norway. And it also says that it was later inserted onto the 10-track compact disc reissues of the vinyl LP in 1985, which I didn't know. But yeah, really, really incredible. Just rocking, crunchy, bluesy. It's a really good damn song. West of the Jordan, east of the Rock of Gibraltar. I see the turning of the page, curtain rising on a new age, see the groom still waiting at the altar. Wow, yeah, it's a really just moody, definitely a really cool moody song. It says here that they describe the song as imbued with surrealism and a series of images that are unrelated to each other, but also noted the influence of biblical prophecies on the lyrics, especially in a apocalyptic line about the curtain rising on a new age in reference to the River Jordan, beyond which lies the promised land of the Hebrews, led by Moses. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of the biblical stuff on the song. Yeah. Really, really cool song. West of the Jordan, east of the Rock of Gibraltar. Yeah. I see the burning of the cage, curtain rising on a new stage. See the groom still waiting at the altar. Some allusions in there too as well. And then we get the second track, Dead Man, Dead Man. this is kind of it's actually kind of a pretty good song. It's once again kind of a bit of a slow tempo kind of rocker here. I believe it's kind of maybe about Jesus, maybe perhaps, as he's mentioning about dead man, when will you arise? Cobwebs in your mind, dust upon your eyes. Maybe he's referring to him, I'm assuming. What are you trying to overpower me with, the doctrine or the gun? My back is already to the wall, where can I run? Yep. Yeah, so it's a pretty good song, you know. Nothing to sneer on. And then after that is In the Summertime. This is actually kind of another good one on here. It's not like a favorite, but it is kind of good. I guess, you know, it's no relation to the Mungo Jerry song. I really love the harmonica on here. It definitely reminds me of a lot of the older Dylan era, like, you know, the Highway 61 and, you know, Blonde on Blonde, and maybe even John Wesley Harding. Well, he plays the harmonica. Oh yeah, in the summertime, when you were with me, I got the heart and you got the blood. We cut through iron and we cut through mud. Then came the warning that was before the flood that set everybody free. Fools that made me a mock of sin, or loyalty that tried to win, but you were closer to me than my next of kin, when they didn't want to know or see. Yeah, if you read the lyrics, it's definitely a very nice song. Okay, and then after that is Trouble. This is once again another really cool, bluesy, you know, really bluesy track here. Yeah, it says trouble, 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 nothing but trouble. I'm not going to really go too far in the song. And then the last track on here, which is, of course, everyone's his most prestigious, well-written, you know, really stabbing, really just bringing it all home here. Hence, you know, I get it, bring it back home. Is Every Grain of Sand. I'm probably going to read the whole thing, might as well. Just really a really excellent song. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite Dylan song necessarily, but the composition, the lyrics are just absolutely, I mean, you can just read this and it's like, you know, for sure that these words can be, are used within, you know, the Bible throughout. In the time of my confession, the hour of my deepest need, when the pool of tears beneath my feet flood every newborn seed, there's a dying voice within me reaching out somewhere, toiling in the danger and the morals of despair. Don't have the inclination to look back on any mistake. Like Cain, I now behold this chain of events that I must break. In the fury of the moment, I can see the Master's hand, and every leaf that trembles in every grain of sand. Oh, the flowers of indulgence and the weeds of yesteryear. I love that, yesteryear. Like criminals, they have choked the breath of conscience and good cheer. The sun beat down upon the steps of time to light the way, to ease the pain of idealness and the memory of decay. I gaze into the doorway of temptation's angry flame, and every time I pass that way I always hear my name. Then onward in my journey I come to understand that every hair is numbered like every grain of sand. I've gone from rags to riches, and the sorrow of the night, and the violence of a summer's dream, and the chill of a wintry light, and the bitter dance of loneliness fading into space. Great line. And the broken mirror of innocence on each forgotten face. I hear the ancient footsteps like the motion of the sea. Sometimes I turn, there's someone there. Other times it's only me. I'm hanging in the balance of the reality of man, like every sparrow falling, like every grain of sand. Wow, incredible. I mean, incredible, incredible song. Now, there are many different outtakes on this album for sure that could easily replace probably a few, a good couple of songs on the album. Definitely Lenny Bruce, probably Watered Down Love. But yeah, definitely for sure, like here, Angelina. I mean, that could have easily been on the album. It's almost like a warning, kind of, if you will, Once again, some great lyrics. Not going to read it. And then also, You Changed My Life, which actually came from, I believe, the second volume or the third volume of Bob Dylan's first series of bootlegs, the first 3 volumes or whatever. That would have been perfect to be put on the album. But, yeah, not my favorite Bob Dylan album. But, yeah, that kind of ends his Christian trilogy. And then we get Infidels. Now, Infidels is definitely get a little bit of that spiritual thing tied in there a little bit, but definitely explaining, it goes a little bit more farther than that. Definitely, it's almost like it's like you're losing, falling into line, losing, kind of, if you will, on all different kind of, well, I guess religion or labor or anything, So definitely a different album for sure, but there you have it, Shot of Love. Not one of my favorite Dylan albums. I, again, understand why some people didn't seem to care about it back then. But it's actually kind of okay. It's an okay album. If you put Angelina and you Change My Life, those would have been perfect. It would have been maybe a better album for sure. But of course, you got to hold every grain of sand, right? Okay, folks, take care. Bye-bye.